Hello friends, it is Christine. Welcome back to another video here on my channel. If you are new, I have 3 kids and the eldest is being homeschooled. We've kind of started some pre-K with my, some preschool with my 3, almost 4-year-old. But I share homeschool content here, so if that's something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you know when a new video has gone live. And you can also check me out on Instagram. I have been fairly good at posting consistently on there lately. So if you're interested to see more like behind the scenes, what we do on a daily basis, check me out on there. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my homeschool essentials, the things that I use all of the time, and I hope that it's going to be helpful. I'm like looking for my list because I wrote it all down. And there's also a blog post that goes along with this, so I will go ahead and link that in the description below if you want to check it out. But I'm going to like read off my list here that I've written down. Okay, so every homeschooler is going to have different essentials, but these are the items that I use all the time and I really, really love. Some of them, people will say that's not essential, but for me it is. Like, I mean, okay, technically by definition it's not essential, but it is something that I love and would really miss if I didn't have it. So let's start with the very first thing, and that is my beloved printer. I have an Epson EcoTank 4750. I have talked about this before on my channel. I love my printer so much. It was an investment. We actually got a deal because it was like the last, it was like the floor model, and so we got it for like a couple $100s off. But you can get the cheaper, there are cheaper printers in the same series that are just as good. So Epson EcoTank, Epson EcoTank, not Epsom salts. I will have these linked in the description below, and you can also find them in the blog post that I talked about. But basically the way that it works is it's like you pour the ink in, and it's just so economical. I have printed over 3,000 color pages, and it's still got like a third of the ink left, and even when you replace the ink, it's very cheap. Like, it's very, very affordable. So the initial cost is a little bit more than a normal standard printer, but it is well worth it in my opinion. And if you're a homeschool family, you're going to be using your printer all the time. My one does double-sided copy, and it does photocopying and like scanning and things like that, so it's great. I use it for like work as well. And I buy a lot of PDF downloads for textbooks and things, and so it just has paid itself off already because I haven't paid like the astronomical shipping costs from the United States to New Zealand. So I highly recommend that printer. I know that I think Canon Pixma series has something similar, and that's very highly recommended in the homeschool groups that I'm part of. But Epson EcoTank is probably the one that I see a lot more, and that's the one that I use, obviously. So yeah, I recommend it, and we'll link it below for you. The next thing that I love having is a laminator. I've got mine here. Mine is, I don't even know like what the brand is. I got this on clearance. I think I paid like $20 New Zealand, so it was probably only like, I don't know, $13 US or something. Super cheap. Mine does A4, which is what we use here in New Zealand. I know in the States they use US letter size, so it's basically our equivalent of that. And I have done tons and tons and tons of laminating with it, and it does perfectly fine. So I suggest going for a cheap laminator. I will go ahead and link one similar in the description below that you can find on Amazon. And I just use like cheap laminating pouches. I don't use super expensive ones, and they've been totally fine. So I love having a laminator because we're right at the beginning of our homeschool journey, so I try and laminate as many things that I need to that I know will last like through all of my kids, so I'm not having to repurchase things, and we can use things over and over again. So love my laminator. And then the next thing that I love, and I made a big investment in this year, is my binding machine. I bought the TrueBind S20A. I had a cinch binding machine, and it did work fine, but I wanted to use the plastic spirals, and cinch only does 1 inch size, and I needed obviously all different sizes, so I decided to go ahead and purchase the TrueBind. Problem is, they don't sell them here in New Zealand, and they're heavy and big, so it did cost me a small fortune to have it shipped here, but I don't regret it at all. I've used it so much already, and I know that we will continue to use it. Like I said, I buy a lot of the kids' textbooks via PDF, and so I just print them and bind them at home. So I recommend having a binding machine. You don't have to go for the S20A. I think the S20 is good. There's several options on Amazon, but I've linked stuff in the blog post. You can have a look at that. I love having a binding machine. It just makes life a lot easier. The next thing that I like to have is a planner of some kind. I've been using the Mom on the Go planner for many years now. I am switching up next year, and I will do a video on that once I have received it, but it's still like a couple months away. But I am excited to switch, but I also love the Mom on the Go planner, and I think I've linked that before. I've done reviews of it on my channel. I'll see if I can find a video that I can refer to you to here. But I kind of plan backwards in the sense that I write things down that we've done instead of what we have to do, and I just like that because in the stage of life that we're in right now, I've just got to kind of be flexible, and it doesn't put a lot of pressure on us, which is really nice. The next thing that I love to have is a caddy to have all of our like coloring supplies and stationery and things like that. I use that a lot. I just got a really cheap one. You can find really cute ones on Amazon. There's quite a few. And I just find it nice because I can pick it up and take it to wherever we're working, and it's just easy to store. Yeah, really lovely way to keep. And it's pretty. Like, it's not like ugly stuff everywhere. We live in a small home, and I will link my homeschool room tour here, which is kind of ironic because it's not a homeschool room. It's like our homeschool space, but we share it with the living room, and so I don't like to have a lot of like bright garish colors out there in my living room. And so yeah, I like our homeschool supplies to be like pretty whenever I can. Next on the list is coloring supplies. This is especially because I have younger children. My middle child loves to draw, and she's actually really good at it, and so I just like to have a constant supply of coloring supplies. At the moment, we've been loving these Twistables from Crayola. I just love them so much better than standard crayons because they don't snap and they last a lot longer, and so yeah, we've been using these and loving them. I also just get washable markers a lot of the time, and then just like coloring pencils. Those are kind of the 3 standards that we have on hand at all times. Another item that many people will say it's not essential, we use it a lot, and that is my iPad, but any kind of tablet would do. I use it a lot because I like to have it just close on hand. If there is a specific topic that stands out, we might quickly go onto YouTube and have a look at some videos that match up. My daughter's preschool that she's doing at the moment, a lot of that is online, and I just like it because it's nice and easy. All About Reading is the reading program my son does, and they've got an app that you can use instead of like the letter tile board. And so again, having an iPad, or I don't know if they do it for Android, I know they do it for iPad, but having that available is really helpful. So I love to have that because it just keeps life easy. And then if you're going to do reading eggs or like ABC Mouse or anything like that, again, it's a handy tool to have. Next up on my list is a bookshelf, because the reality is, as a homeschooling family, you are going to have books, like a copious amount of books. And there are ways to like minimize things, but the reality is you're going to have a lot of books. So have at least one bookshelf. Okay, a couple of other like stationery kind of items. Pencils, I like to have the mechanical pencils. I do have regular ones, but my son just like over sharpens them all the time. So I like the mechanical pencils, and also a dry erase board. We do not have any space to have like a big chalkboard or dry erase board. I just have the little ones, and they have worked perfectly fine for us at the moment. Jack does the Good and the Beautiful math, and it's been perfect for that. We haven't needed a big one. And then the last 2 things are kind of organizing things. One is baskets. I love having lots of baskets to put little things in, containers, things like that. I like sort of harder baskets. I know you can get soft ones, but like for books and stuff, it's just not as practical. But I use that. I've also got a trolley that I bought recently to put our craft supplies in, and that's worked really well. And then also magazine holders. So I use that to put our textbooks in. Again, if you go look at the homeschool tour, our homeschool space tour, you can see how I've got things stored. I'm still working on it, but I really like how those work for us, and they're just really affordable, which is great. So these are my homeschool essentials, my essential supplies, the things that we use all of the time and that I would really miss if I didn't have them. I know they won't be essential for everyone, but maybe it gives you an idea. It gives you a jumping off point if you're just starting out. I hope it was helpful, and leave me a comment if you've got any other helpful suggestions about storage and homeschool things that you love and use every day. I would love to hear about it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no war.